Welcome to the Hit Squad. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. Obviously still
sporting the red 4 weeks in a row. Same shirt, still haven't washed it. No joke.
I tell you what, and I know I'm not got the red on, but I tell you, I wore this shirt when we played the Pirates to start this series with them and the Dodgers, and we came away with wins. So
hey, I walked in the studio today. The first thing I said is, nice shirt. He goes, hey, I wore this shirt game one every time that the Cardinals are playing in the series. You know what? Hey, I love it. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Crash Davis, don't mess with a winning streak. So that's what we're doing here. This segment, of course, brought to you by Shamrock Fighting Championships. That is home of St. Louis Mixed Martial Arts, professional St. Louis Mixed Martial Arts, I should say. They do it right there for sure. Check us out on Facebook, Hit Squad 101 ESPN, and then Twitter handle is at Hit Squad 101 ESPN. Well, we're going to tackle the UFC 166. I tell you what, I was reading on the internet, a lot of people say maybe not the best ever, but definitely in the running.
If it's not the best ever, what was the best?
They did say that this has to be mentioned.
This was the best UFC card to date.
You're going on and
20
saying
years coming up
20
November
years.
16th, and this is the best UFC card to date they've ever put together. And I got to tell you something. I mean, this proves and solidifies who the best heavyweight in the world is. We don't need to see fight
exactly
number 4. We don't need to
see
see fight number 5. And I got to tell you something. Cain Velasquez is the best heavyweight in the world and the best heavyweight of all time.
Oh, wow, of all time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was reading and people were saying he's up there. He kind of with almost the card. It allows to be like in the same mention, but you're going on saying
I will say he's the best heavyweight.
Best heavyweight ever.
Yes, and if he's not, who is?
Yep.
I mean, like realistically, who is? And I got to tell you something. The guy's got the whole package, man. He's got great kickboxing. Obviously, he's a great wrestler, and obviously, he's got great jiu-jitsu. I mean, the guy is the real deal, and he's got a gas tank that won't quit. The thing you had to question was his chin. Well, I think we found out that his chin is granite, so I think we're all good. The first fight, I personally feel like it was a fluke. I thought that all along, and I got to tell you something, man. He is the real deal. Embrace him.
He drove home that point, absolutely. And actually still made it out on the town. I was watching TMZ. Yes. He was out bandaged up, so he wasn't too banged up to go make a night of it.
It's got to do what you got to do. You got to celebrate when the time's right.
Absolutely. Well, that was a great card. And I was out, and someone asked me after that fight card, is Cormier a threat to Jon Jones? I would have to say yes.
I do think he's a huge threat to Jon Jones, and I also think that, you know what, he's got to get through Gustafsson. And I totally respect the UFC for what they're doing. I'm actually really happy to see Cormier going down to heavyweight, 205, but I also want to see him fight Gustafsson because I feel like Gustafsson won that fight with Jon Jones, and I feel like, you know what, you got to go and you're in a new weight class, go beat the man, and you know who needs kudos out of all this? Is Cormier. I mean, he could actually have a title shot right now if he was going to fight his teammate. And I got to tell you something, man. He said, you know what, I'll move down a weight class. I don't have to fight my teammate. And he's going to have to go fight another guy to go fight for that title to beat Jon Jones. And I got to tell you something. All kudos to Daniel Cormier. Hats off, buddy. You're a first-class act. And I hope you go out and I hope you put it to Jon Jones.
Oh, there you go. You have it. And I tell you what, I'm excited for that Gustafsson Cormier. You got the long range.
Interesting matchup.
Oh, absolutely.
Great matchup overall.
And then Cormier, who likes to get in there and wrestle around, see if he can get past those long arms and legs of Gustafsson. And if he does, look out Jon Jones.
Watch out Jon Jones.
That's exactly
because
right.
There's called a man named DC, Daniel Cormier.
I tell you what, Jones will be watching that fight extremely, close, I would say, with the yellow notepad out, writing down what's going on there.
Let's hope so, and let's hope his coaches are watching as well.
And just some other notes from the UFC 166. Santos, Sean Jordan, Tim Bosch all receive indefinite medical suspensions. Santos apparently thought he was KO'd in the second round, according to a report out of Brazil. But stopping those fights, I tell you what, I would not want to be in that situation that those refs get in there and when to stop. And my hat's off to those guys. A lot of times they get it right. I've seen guys who I thought, well, this is over. They get up and actually win that fight. That's a tough,
Hey, you have a big responsibility if you're working somebody's corner. And it's not just working somebody's corner. A local MMA fight guy wants to try a fight. This is the UFC. If you're in the professional ranks, I personally feel like, you know what, it's a referee's job to stop it. I'd hate to see my guy go out there and get his brains beat in, but if the referee's in there and he's educated enough, it's his turn. It's his job to stop the fight. It's not your job as a corner. You can recommend to him in the corner what you personally, what I would do is say, hey, listen, I think it's enough. I've never done that before. I've done it in a boxing match, but I've never actually done it in a mixed martial arts event. But I got to tell you something. It's not your job as the corner as to say, okay, stop it. That's just my personal opinion. Now, I also say in the amateur ranks, I totally agree that you should stop the fights whenever there is a corner guy. Let them stay. You know what? You've had enough.
Fight another day.
Fight another day. They're in the amateurs to learn to get to the professionals. When you get to the professionals, you are a true professional. You go out there, you got to get paid to do what you got to do. And you know what? If the referee doesn't think it's enough for you, let it be.
In my opinion, I think they do a great job.
They do a hell of a job.
Yeah, this is a new sport. It really, 20 years old? It's not that, you don't have a ton to draw from. And I think they do like you say, they do a hell of a job of, okay, he's had enough, or no, this can still go on.
Right. And Chad, let me tell you something. They talk about a bang-bang play in baseball at first base. You talk about a bang-bang when someone's punching in the face. Okay, these referees do a great job. They're jumping in at the right times and stopping it. Yes, some referees have made some mistakes, but you know what? Who in their life hasn't made mistakes? And you know what? If you're the person who think you can do a better job, go apply it to the athletic commissions and see what happens and see if you can do it.
Don Durkinger.
Yes.
And like you said, when that stuff's happening, bang, bang, it's a tough call to make, man.
It really
I
is.
would not want it.
And you know what? A lot of times they're making the right calls, and there's been many times I got a chance to watch it on TV and thought, oh, man, he should have stopped that fight. And then I watched back and go, you know what? No, he made the right call. He made the right call. He should have let it go a little bit further, and you know what? It comes out that the guy ends up coming back and beating him. This makes me to my next point, okay, if I can go with this.
Go right ahead.
Just like the Sanchez and Melendez fight. You know what? He should have probably jumped in and stopped that fight from everyone saying, oh, he should have stopped this fight in the first or second round, and he was, this, that. You watch that third round of the Diego Sanchez and Gilbert Melendez fight. The best fight in UFC history. The best fight in UFC history. Hands down. Absolutely awesome. And I got to tell you, if I was a referee, thank God I was not, because there have been times in that fight that I would have stopped it in the second and in the third. And it just kept getting better and better and better. Diego, hats off. Man, you're a stud. Gilbert, you're a bigger stud.
Unreal. So, it's what we got from the storylines of 166. Best heavyweight ever. Best fight card ever. And best fight ever.
That's a best fight card ever.
That is a good night on a Saturday night.
The UFC outdid themselves, and I got to tell you, when this fight card came out, I thought, oh, it's a good fight card. I don't have very much interest in Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos, but I got to tell you something. After watching the fight, and I was like, oh, man. Then I started actually looking at it, and we're going through Josh Gross last weekend and talking about it, and I got to tell you, when I saw Gilbert Melendez is fighting Diego Sanchez, I was like, man, that was really interesting back then. Then the more I started to look at the matchup and started to really look at it, I'm like, damn, this is going to be a hell of a fight. And I said it last week. I was like, styles make fights, man. And you know what? This proves it. You know what? These guys know what they're doing. It's all about style matchups. Hey, are these guys the two best 155ers in the world? Possibly Gilbert could be, but it's not about that, man. Here's what we are, is we're talking the next week about the fight. And it's about, getting the right styles to fights, and then entertain the fans and all of us.
And we'll be tackling some more stylistic fights coming up on the UFC Fight Night 30. But Gilbert Melendez is campaigning for a title shot following the UFC.
Give the man a title.
I was going to say, why not? Does he deserve it?
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
First of all, he beat Benson Henderson. Josh Gross said it last week. I said it this week. A lot of people have said it.
Yeah,
you know what, man? Come on. And you want to talk about style fights? Anthony Pettis and Gilbert Melendez? Come on, man. Those are two just bangers. Gilbert's got probably better jiu-jitsu. I would say that, Pettis is probably a better athlete. Awesome fight, man. If you're looking for fights you want to go watch and introduce somebody to the sport, go watch when those guys fight. Yes, give them the damn title shot.
That would be a good one. Well, Jose Aldo wants Anthony Pettis at the lightweight to steal Pettis' belt.
Hey, fight at lightweight. See if they both got to fight at lightweight, and then we'll go from there. Just like DC's going down to 205, make him fight a fight, and then go from there. I want to see Gilbert Melendez and Anthony Pettis, and that's a hell of a fight.
I would rather see that, absolutely. I tell you what, Anthony Pettis has a target on his back, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's got some of the best calling him won that fight.
He won 55, man. There's not an easy fight in there.
No, absolutely not. Well, we go to one of Jesse's favorite fighters taking the headline there in the upcoming UFC Fight Night 30. Lyoto Machida, baby. He's going to be headlining Free on Fox.
I don't talk about Lyoto.
So, we're coming off of a great fight card, and now we go to this week. It's Free on Fox, and there's definitely some storylines coming out of this.
I don't talk
Not
about
of Loyoda. I'm talking about the undercard. No, you don't have to. You don't have to touch on that. We're going to be. But I'm excited for definitely some of these fights. And on top of that, I know, that, like you said, I wouldn't sit someone down and say, okay, you're going to get into the UFC. Here's Loyoda Machida and enjoy this. No, I would definitely back what you said, get Melendez out there and, have him in Pettis.
Yes, and it's interesting matches up on here with Pearson and Gillard. There's some good fights on here. I really do. I think that if Mark Munoz sticks to the game plan, there's a lot of good stuff happening here. But Machida, you know what? He's proved us wrong, reigning Couture on numerous occasions. So, you never know what's going to really come up on this fight. We'll see this.
We're going to be breaking that down right after the break here on 101sports.com.